I recently came across this article from May 10th, 1857 from the New York Dispatch called Remarkable Coincidences. And boy, are they remarkable when you look at it. And it really is just a collection of massive tales and things that have been passed on from the ancients and still exist to now. And these guys back in the day could only really imagine what we can now put to some vision using AI Bing. So I'm going to try to use this as a way to kind of utilize that technology and show some imagery that maybe kind of coincides with these ancient ideas and thoughts, which are incredible coincidences when you think of it. And unless you realize that the ancient world was all interconnected and beautifully connected. And that's where kind of the realization comes as you look at all this stuff. So I'm going to try to read as the artwork comes and take a listen. This stuff is cool. Remarkable coincidences. The custom of libation to the gods was common with the Greeks, Romans, Chinese, and Tartars. All the ancient nations had feasts of the same nature with the Saturnalia. So again, that occurs at the end of the year, and it's kind of like in those magical days when the cycle of the earth needs to kind of recollect itself. And they were all celebrating it because they were all following the same divine ancient calendar. Also, the tradition of the deluge, the Great Flood, is very general. It is commemorated among many nations by different religious institutions, which we all know of. This story of the flood, it is so common that it is almost a guarantee that it was a big event back in the day. And a lot of people, as you'll see, some of the Scandinavians have different theories of why it happened. Everyone has a different theory. And it's rather interesting because it definitely had happened, and it must have been preserved, and how many people survived. And some people nowadays say an Antarctic ice shelf fell, but I think again we don't know anything. I think the ancients are always a little more close to accuracy, because I do believe that not everything is just perfectly natural. I believe there is some divinity in this world, and there always has been. And the connection of all these ancients, the remarkable coincidences kind of prove it, which is pretty cool. The Egyptians spoke of certain brazen pillars on which Mercury had inscribed the principles of the sciences which had withstood the power of the flood. And if you think about it, that is a great way to do it. If you know something's coming, you write stuff down in a way that will not be affected by a flood, on giant pillars, on obelisks, on all different kinds of things. Maybe that is the true purpose of the obelisk. Who knows? Vishnu, one of the gods of India, Hindu, in the form of a fish, conducted the vessel which saved a remnant of the human race. I had a dream about a massive fish once, so I wonder, what that has to do with anything. But either way, a very good story. What if they used, if there was a natural element to the rescue instead of something that man-made, people built? What if the gods helped, or what if nature itself had creatures that actually helped the humans as well, because they lived in a time where magic happened? According to the Edda of the Scandinavians, the deluge was formed of the blood of a giant. The fable of the giants attacking heaven prevailed not only in Greece, but in India and Siam. And I could not get AI to make those waterfalls blood or red at all by trying a bunch of different things. It didn't work. They were on to me. I had to kind of tame this one down. But either way, incredible vision of the giants and what they could be capable of, and what a war in heaven may have looked like. And if the blood came down, and maybe the water, maybe they punched a hole in the firmament. Who knows? And just as I mentioned that potential theory of the giants popping a hole in the firmament, I immediately realized I could go to AI and add it right here in the middle of making the video. Add a vision for this, which again would have taken me months, years to draw, but I did it in seconds. Less than a minute I was able to add this. That is another benefit of this technology. But really, you can envision things that are so massive. It's really giving our mind vision to a lot of these incredibly elaborate theories we have. I love it. It's really great. And again, I'll put out a video soon expressing my likes and dislikes for it, because as an artist, and a teacher, I have a very unique impression of how it can be used and how it can be feared, but mostly used. I'm backtracking to one sentence of this article which says the Peyrun, Peyrun, of the Chinese, a favorite of the gods, was preserved in a boat in the general deluge. So I'm not exactly sure what that was, but I've heard about marble boats and different things of the ancient Chinese, so I tried to envision it with that, them making a giant marble boat and basically saving them, because everyone has the story and it's all unique. Every people has a unique story. The story of Atlantis, or the lost continent, an old tradition of the Greeks related by Plato, is current in China and all the Asiatic nations. See, they know. Atlantis is another one of those things where we're going to find out someday soon that it was a lot sooner and more recent in our past than we thought, and it maybe had something to do with something that the controllers never wanted us to ever know about, so they just did the ultimate destruction to it. And it makes you wonder if maybe it's a connection to a realm from beyond, or maybe there are many Atlantises around that were buried, and maybe the whole waters of the earth were rose and buried so many places. There's no telling, but either way, a lot happened. Flood, everything. Common in every single civilization. The worship of the Grand Lama, the priest of the god Fo in China and Tartary, is founded on the doctrine of metempsychosis, resurrection, and reincarnation, which also forms a part of the belief of the Brahmins, Persians, and Egyptians. I love reincarnation, and I also firmly believe in it, because I do believe that this is some sort of test, and we are here to inevitably compete in this, or just keep going in this test until we can figure out the way out by achieving that ultimate goal of the rainbow body and nirvana and all that stuff. I love that belief. According to Kempfer, as quoted by Monsieur Bally, the doctrine of the two principles viz. Inert matter and a universal soul pervading all nature and acting upon matter lies at the foundation of the worship of the Amida or Ksaka of the Japanese, the Fo of the Chinese, the Buddha of India, the Bodham of the Isle of Ceylon, the Sumana Kodam of Siam, the Somana Rutana of Pegu, all different names for the same idol god. And I just copy and pasted that sentence and put it into Google Earth, and that's how to AI Bing, and that's how I got these images right here, which are interestingly unique and of a weird language that doesn't make any sense. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this collection of intense imagery. Again, created by Bing Image Creator with the DALL-E 3 technology. It's a very useful tool. Again, it is a tool. It does not take away, it will never take away from the process of art. I draw for a living. I'm an art teacher, and I draw every single night of my life, and I always have until about 4 or 5 in the morning. That will never stop, no matter what technology comes out, because the power that comes with being a creative and entering the creative state is unparalleled, and no computer's ever going to touch that. I don't like looking at computers. I like looking at paper. And so don't fear, anybody. I do like utilizing this technology because as well it gives you a glimpse. It's like basically having my favorite artists at the palm of my hand, and I can see a vision that I'm thinking of created by another artist, and it gives me ideas. It's a harmony. It is a harmony. And so it is useful, and especially in things like this, again, it gives visions that are otherwise would take way too long, and it allows us to hone in on what we really need to draw and create, which you'll see in due time. So stay tuned for much more. I hope you all like these coincidences, and if you have any more, list them below. Love hearing from you all. Bless you all.